Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, my third secondary students. Welcome to the second semester of Durus Online. Today we have listening, vocabulary, and grammar from your book, The Traveler 6. As usual, we start with our three objectives of what we will learn today. For number one, we're going to apply the listening skill. For number two, we're going to practice using some new vocabulary. And for number three, we're going to use the passive voice correctly, especially with, reported speech. As for number one, and I hope you get your headphones ready, we're going to practice some listening skills. You're going to hear a set of different conversation, and you will have to answer multiple choice question. Each one is A, B, or C. One answer is correct. And for number two, we're going to learn some new words. And for number three, the passive voice, we're going to remember the passive voice and exactly how we use it with the reported sentences. So here is some advice and tips for the beginning of the listening. One, before you start listening, read the options carefully to get a general idea of what you're going to hear. Two, listen carefully to the dialogue and focus on the question. All three choices may be referred to the radio program. However, only one of them correctly answers the question. Now, the conversation is a radio program, and it's like an interview on a radio, and you're going to hear a radio program called People Who Have Made a Difference, in which you will hear someone talking about their career as a teacher. You will hear the program in several parts. After each part, you will hear 2 to 4 questions. For each question, choose the correct answer. Now, let's get ready to the first conversation.
Sorry about that. So, Dan, could you tell our listeners what made you decide to become a teacher?
My love of books. I lived in a one-bedroom apartment in a poor neighborhood with my little brother and my father. My mother died when I was 4. We were always short of cash. There were times when we didn't have electricity because we couldn't pay the bills on time. But we had books, and I soon found out that they could take me anywhere. I could see the world without having to leave my room. I could have exciting adventures and live dangerously without risking my life.
1. Who brought Dan up? Two. What didn't Dan and his family have? Three. What did Dan like doing as a child?
So as for number one, who brought dance up was his father, and he didn't have money. And also, what he liked to do when he was a child, he used to like reading. So number one is B to answer, and number two is money, which is also B, and number three is reading. So let's hear more of the conversation in the second part, which continues with the...
What did Dan like doing?
You certainly didn't have it easy.
No, I didn't. Of course I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Patrick Lynch. He wasn't only one of my professors at college. He was a great mentor and a wonderful person. Funnily enough, I didn't think much of him at first because he seemed so traditional. But all that changed once I got to know him better. He was a harsh critic and reduced me to tears on many occasions. However, I learned a lot from him and entered my profession with excitement and confidence instead of fear.
4. Who was Patrick Lynch? Five. What was Dan's first impression of Patrick? Dan feel when he started teaching?
So the answers actually for number one, it was his professor, Mr. Patrick. And number two, at the beginning he didn't like the professor, but number three, he was afraid. So for the best answer is C, and for 5, the best answer is A, and for 6, A also. Let's continue to the third part of the conversation where Dan speaks more of
What
you.
was Dan?
Out of this world.
So what was your first day like? How did it feel?
Out of this world. I remember looking at my students and thinking, this is my destiny, to have this group of children before me. And a large group it was, I can tell you that. 30 kids. In some schools there will be 15 kids, 20 tops in a class. Anyway, I made up a story and gave them a funny speech about how strict I was and how I taught football players and prisoners, so a bunch of 5th graders wasn't much of a challenge.
7. What went through Dan's head on his first day? Eight. How many students did Dan have? 9. Who were Dan's first students?
So as you can see, the answers actually for number 7 speaks about Dan's first experience when he, for 7, taught for the first time. So it was felt like he was made for this. For number 7, the best answer is A. And for number 8, how many students? He had 30 students for the first time. And for number 9, his students were 5th grade. Okay, his students were 5th graders or 5th grade. So that was the end of the listening part. Now let's go to vocabulary. And you can see the verb turn in a phrasal verb. So turn around, it means something, and turn away, turn down, turn into, turn inside out, turn in, turn back, and turn against. So for number 1, turn around, it means come back or come around. Turn around, it means come back or come around. Turn away, it means keep out or look back. Turn down, it means reject or keep out. Turn into, transform or make into. Turn up, inside out, it means flip it. And turn in is to lay down. Turn back, to lead back or return. And turn against, resist or oppose. See that we have the same verb, but the verb goes with different prepositions, so we call it phrasal verb. In each one, or in each time, we change the preposition, the meaning changes completely. So turn around means come back or come around, and turn away, it means to keep out or look back. Turn down, it means to reject and also to keep out. Turn into, it means to transform or change or make into something else. Turn inside out, it means flip it inside out. Turn in is to lay down, and turn back to lead back or to return. And turn against, it means resist or oppose. So for the phrasal verbs with the verb turn, here are some examples of how the meaning changes with the proposition. So the kidnapper turned out to be a neighbor. So turned out means proved to be. Another example, they turned the wallet over. So turn over to the police, it means give something back to the authority. Now also when we talk about phrasal verbs, we can remember compound nouns. Compound nouns most of the time are, weather forecast is a combination of 2 words. So according to weather forecast, it will rain tomorrow. 2, we just bought a new water bed. You wouldn't believe how restful a sleep you get on it. So you can buy a water bed. Water alone has a meaning and bed alone has a meaning. And once you put them together, we call them compound nouns. You have too many examples in English about compound nouns. For example, sunshine or sunlight. They come together, either one word or with a dash or hyphen. Sun has a meaning and shine has a meaning. Sunset, for example. Sun is the sun and we all know the sun, and set is another thing. So once we put them together, it is sunset. And its sunset is exactly at Maghrib time. So you have too many examples of two words. We put them together and we call this compound nouns. And the meaning changes a lot. Now let's go to the passive voice, the second part of the passive voice with the reporting verbs. And the rule is here. It is always and a passive reporting verb with that and the rest of the sentence or the clause. For example, if you have a reporting verb in an active sentence like people say that, she's the leading expert on guerrilla communication. So this is an active sentence. And people say that this is a reporting verb. So how can we change this active sentence into passive sentence? So we say it is said, okay, it is said that, and the passive of reporting verb say said, so we take the past participle. It is said that, so we have it is here, and the reporting verb say in the passive, it is said and that here, and then the rest of the sentence. And you would still need to do some changes, like if you have in a present verb in a passive or in the active, you change it into the passive. So it is said that she's the leading expert on guerrilla communication. So here we didn't change much. We only changed the reporting verb. Another example, people believe that dolphins are the most intelligent of animals. So this is an active sentence starting with a reporting verb. So it is, and the passive reporting verb, believed, and that dolphins are the most intelligent of animals. Let's take another example which is a little bit more difficult than the other one. So rewrite the following sentences in a passive voice starting with the words given. So you have words given. Here you have it is, okay? They say that. So according to the rule we say it is said that, okay? And you continue the sentence. The French Revolution or the French founded this town in the 17th century. And number two, the detective is questioning the suspect at the moment. The suspect, and here it didn't start with believe or it's just a regular change of active sentence into the passive. But once you have a sentence start with they say or they believe or he says or what we believed, you have to say that it is believed that or it is said that. But here in the second sentence you have is questioning the suspect is a active sentence with the tense of present continuous, so it has a different thing. So is questioning, we say was questioned. So they say that the French founded this town in the 17th century, so we say it is said that this town was founded by French in the 17th century. And for number two, the suspects are being questioned at the moment by the detective. So the sentence here, the detective is questioning. This is present continuous. And we change the present continuous into the are being questioned. And be careful of the changes. Here, the subject in active sentence is singular. The detective is questioning the suspects. But here the object, becomes the subject here, and it's plural now, so we don't say the suspect is being. No. The one who, the subject here in the second sentence is plural, so we say the suspect are being questioned at the moment. And you can continue, if you like, by the detective. By the detective. So what we have learned today was we started with some nice listening, and we had a set of 3 conversations, and we talked about phrasal verb with turn against, turn in, turn out, turn around, and also we just finished talking about the passive voice with the reporting verb, and you start a sentence if the active sentence starts with they say or they believe, we say. For the passive voice, if we change sentences like this, it is said that, or it was believed, or it is believed that, and you continue the rest of the sentence. These are the references, and for more resources, you can check this online. And finally, for more information and lessons, you can visit our website here and follow us on Twitter and call us on this number. Thank you all for watching this. Until I see you again, have a good day and assalamu alaikum.